ഓക്കെ, പാർട്ട് 2 ആണ് നമ്മളിന്ന് ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്യാൻ പോകുന്നത്. പാർട്ട് 2, ഐ മീൻ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ പേപ്പർ പാർട്ട് 2. സോ ഇന്നലെ ചെയ്തിട്ടുള്ള വീഡിയോ വളരെ കുറഞ്ഞ ആളുകളാണ് കണ്ടത്. മിനിമം ഒരു 100 പേരെങ്കിലും നമ്മുടെ ചാനൽ കാണുകയാണെങ്കിൽ അത്രയും സന്തോഷം. സോ നിങ്ങൾ കാണുന്ന ആളുകൾ മറ്റുള്ളവർക്ക് കൂടി ലിങ്ക് ഷെയർ ചെയ്യുക. ഓക്കെ, ഒന്നാമത്തെ ചോദ്യം. ജോൺ ഡൺസ് പോയം ദ കാനണൈസേഷൻ യൂസസ് വിച്ച് സെൻട്രൽ കൺസീറ്റ് ടു ആർഗ്യൂ ഫോർ ദ ലവേഴ്സ്? The lovers are compared to medieval saints who become venerated through their love. Question number 2. In Milton's Paradise Lost, book number 9, which human emotion does Satan exploit first to tempt Eve? Answer: vanity and pride in her own beauty and wisdom. Question number 3. John Dryden's Mac Flecknoe crowns Shadwell as the heir of dullness. The mock coronation takes place in a decaying theatre in the Barbican area. A decaying theatre in the Barbican area. Thomas Gray's elegy written in a country churchyard employs which stanza form? Heroic quatrains, iambic pentameter, A-B. In Shakespeare's Hamlet, the phrase "to be or not to be" is spoken in which act and scene? Act 3, Scene 1 is the right answer. Which character in Shakespeare's Twelfth Night disguises herself as Cesario? Viola. Pope's Rape of the Lock is subtitled a heroic comical poem. The epic machinery uses in the poem involves sylphs, gnomes, and other tiny supernatural beings. Eighth question, and in Marlowe's Dr. Faustus, the final soliloquy of Faustus begins with the words. Answer: "How Faustus, now hast thou but one bare how to live." Francis Bacon's essay of marriage and single life argues that married men are better citizens but worse candidates for great enterprises. Robert Burns' A Red, Red Rose is written in, answer, Scots dialect ballad meter. William Blake's The Tiger and the Lamb are paired poems because they, answer, represent experience and innocence as contrasting states of the human soul. 12th question. Jonathan Swift's The Battle of the Books was written to support which position in the ancients versus modern controversy? Answer: the ancients, classical authors are superior to modern writers. Module 2, early to 18th century, non-detailed. The ballad Chevy Chase celebrates a border conflict between England and Scotland. The hunt described in its held on whose land? Answer: the Percy Earl Northumberland's territory encroaching a Scottish land. Edmund Spenser's Epithalamion is a wedding song written to celebrate his own marriage to Elizabeth Boyle. 15th question. Andrew Marvell's To His Coy Mistress is structured around which three-part logical argument? Answer: if we had infinite time, but time is short, therefore let us seize the day. Richard Sheridan's The School for Scandal satirizes, answer, the gossip, hypocrisy, and sentimental morality of 18th century London society. Daniel Defoe's Robinson Crusoe is considered a fundamental text of the English novel because, answer, it creates a realistic, individualistic narrative that valorizes practical reason and self-reliance. Module 3, Romantic and Victorian Period. Question number 18. Wordsworth's preface to Lyrical Ballad defines the spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings as poetry that, answer, recollects emotion in tranquility after the fact. In Coleridge Kubla Khan, the damsel with the dulcimer represents, answer, the muse of Abyssinian inspiration that the poet longs to revive. Question number 20. Lord Byron's The Prisoner of Chillon is based on the actual imprisonment of, answer, Francois Bonivard, a Swiss patriot imprisoned for his political beliefs. Next question. In Keats' Ode to a Nightingale, the phrase easeful death reflects which poetic concept? Answer, an acceptance of mortality as release from the weariness of life. Next question. Tennyson's The Lotus Eaters is thematically related to which sections of Homer's Odyssey? Answer, the land of the lotus eaters who eat the flower and forget their homeland. Matthew Arnold's The Scholar Gypsy is set in the countryside near, answer, Oxford. Thomas D. Quincy's On the Knocking at the Gate in Macbeth argues that the knocking scene, answer, creates a profound contrast that restores the world of ordinary life, making the murder feel more terrible. Charles Lamb's essay Dream Children, a Reverie is notable for, answer, its poignant blend of imagination and reality. Imagining children Lamb never had. Next module, non-detailed one, module 4. Jane Austen's Mansfield Park centers on which character who rises from a poverty through moral seriousness? Mansfield Park centers. Answer, Fanny Price. In Emily Bronte's Wuthering Heights, Heathcliff is best described as, answer, a Byronic hero, passionate, brooding, and morally ambiguous. Allow the Equinos, the interesting narrative, chapter 4 and 5, is a significant text because, answer, it provides a first person enclaved African's account of the Middle Passage and slavery. Charles Dickens' Oliver Twist attacks, answer, the Poor Law Amendment Act of 1834 and workhouse conditions. The Poor Law Amendment Act of 1834 and workhouse conditions. It's a good question. Module 5, 20th century British literature. W.B. Yeats' Sailing to Byzantium uses Byzantium as a symbol of, answer, the eternal world of art and intellect, contrasted with the natural world of transient life. T.S. Eliot, The Wasteland uses the myth of the Fisher King to suggest the spiritual sterility and moral decay of post-war European civilization. 32, question number 32. Dylan Thomas' poem in October celebrates, answer, the Welsh landscape and the poet's 30th birthday as a moment of spiritual awakening. 33. Carol Ann Duff's Anne Hathaway is a dramatic monologue in which the speaker is, Answer option C, Shakespeare's wife celebrating their physical and imaginative love. 34. Ted Hughes thought Fox is a poem about, answer, the process of poetic composition itself, with the fox as a metaphor for a poem arriving in the mind. Tom Gunn's on the move uses the image of motorcyclists to suggest, answer, the existential human condition of making meaning through will and motion in a different universe. T.S. Eliot's Murder in the Cathedral dramatizes the martyrdom of, answer, option B, Thomas Becket, Archbishop of Canterbury, killed by Henry II's knights. J.M. Singh's Playboy of the Western World caused riots in Dublin because the audience objected to, answer B, the use of the word shift, a woman's undergarment, and its supposed slander of Irish womanhood and character. Question number 38. Harold Pinter's The Birthday Party is classified as a comedy of menace because, answer, it uses comedy to mask profound existential threat and the destruction of identity by mysterious external forces. Question number 39. Virginia Woolf's modern fiction criticizes Arnold Bennett, H.G. Wells, and John Glassworthy as Edwardian or materialist novelists because they focused on external social facts rather than inner life of consciousness. Now, Module 6, non-detailed one, 20th century British. F.R. Lewis, The Great Tradition identifies which four novelists as the core of English literary tradition? Answer, Jane Austen, George Eliot, Henry James, Joseph Conrad, and D.H. Lawrence. 41. Virginia Woolf's Mrs. Dalloway takes place over the course of a single day in June in London. Question number 42. James Joyce's A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man ends with Stephen Dedalus' decision to, answer, leave Ireland to forge in the smithy of his soul the uncreated conscience of his race. 43. Carol Churchill's Top Girls features a dinner party in which, answer, historical and legendary women from different eras meet to celebrate Marilyn's promotion. Module 7, Indian Writing in English, Detailed 1. Sir Arbindo's poem, The Trance of Waiting, is written in, answer C, quantitative hexameter in the traditional of classical Sanskrit and Greek poetry. Question number 45. Sarojini Naidu's Coromandel Fishers is addressed to, answer, the fishermen of the Coromandel coast, urging them to embrace the sea and their work. 46. A.K. Ramanujan's The Striders uses the image of water strider insect to explore, answer, the idea of living delicately on the surface of chaos without being engulfed by it. Next one, Manjula Padmanabhan's play Harvest deals with the commodification of human organs in a globalized world where the poor sell body parts to the rich. Manjula Padmanabhan play The Harvest. Kunjunni Raja's theory of Dhwani, resonance or suggestion, hold that the best kind of poetry is on one in which, answer, suggested meaning, Vyanjana, transcends and enriches the expressed meaning. Kamala Das' poem Freaks is notable for its, answer, option B, candid confessional depiction of physical desire and The inadequacy of passionless relationship. Question number 50. Nizim Ezekiel's poem Background Casually is divided into three parts. The third part resolves the poet's identity crisis by answer accepting India as home despite its imperfections and finding his place in Bombay's Jewish community. Nizim Ezekiel's poem Background and Casually. Okay. Now let's go to module 8, non-detailed one. Mulk Raj Anand's The Untouchable is set over the course of answer a single day in the life of Baka, a young sweeper. 52. Raja Rao's The Serpent and the Rope is notable in Indian English literature for answer its Vedantic Gandhian vision and its innovative use of English with Indian rhythms and syntax. Aravind Adiga's The White Tiger employs which unusual narrative technique? Answer option C. A series of letters written by Balram Halwai to the Chinese premier. 54. A.K. Ramanujan's essay, Is There an Indian Way of Thinking? Argues that Indian thinking is primarily context sensitive rather than context free, depending on situation, relationship, and caste. Now, part 2, American literature and linguistics. Question number 55. Walt Whitman's Out of the Cradle Endless Rocking is set on which geographical location? Answer, the shore of Long Island. 56. Emily Dickinson rarely left her home and her poems frequently explore death. In I Felt a Funeral in My Brain, the mourners are treading represents option B, repetitive, crushing thoughts of overwhelming the speaker's rational mind. Wallace Stevens' Sunday morning questions answer whether sensory beauty in this world can replace the consolation of Christian religion. 58. Question number 58. Maya Angelou's phenomenal woman celebrates answer B, the power of Black women's physical presence, confidence, and spirit beyond conventional standards of beauty. 59. Eugene O'Neill's Emperor Jones uses a falling drum beat throughout the play to represent answer John's psychological disintegration and encroachment of his past. Question number 16. Tennessee Williams, The Glass Menagerie is named after Laura Wingsfield's collection of miniature glass animal figurines. This is a previous year question, so important one. Now let's go to module 10, non-detailed from American literature. Emerson's self-reliance argues that the individual should answer option B, trust the inner voice of the soul and resist conformity and social pressure. Hawthorne's The Scarlet Letter uses the letter A as a symbol of answer B, gradually transforms from a mark of shame to a possible symbol of able or sainthood. Herman Melville's Moby Dick, The white whale is a symbol of answer. The ambiguous, inscrutable forces of the universe that Ahab obsessively pursues. Module 11. Structure of English language and linguistics. The term Indo-European family of languages was first systematically proposed after comparing Sanskrit with European languages. Who is credited with the first recognizing this connection? William Jones. This is a very interesting question. Question number 65. In Chomsky's transformational generative grammar, which rule generates basic phrase structure? I'm sorry. Phrase structure. Rules such as S equal to NP plus VP. Phrase structure. The distinction between Lang and Parole was introduced by Lang and Parole, Ferdinand de Saussure. Which of the following is an example of function word, function class word in English? Book, run, the, beautiful. So the is the right answer. Sociolinguistics studies. Answer. The relationship between language and social factors such as class, gender, ethnicity, and power. Module 12, English language teaching. The grammar translation method is characterized by option B, teaching grammar rules through mother tongue and translating literary text. Teaching grammar rules through the mother tongue and translating literary, that is grammar translation method. Lozanow's Suggestopedia method in language teaching primarily aims to answer remove psychological barriers to learning by creating a relaxed, suggestive environment with music. Krushen's monitor model distinguishes between acquisition and learning. In this theory, acquisition refers to option B, unconscious, natural absorption of language through meaningful exposure. 72. Error analysis in ELT aims to error analysis. Identify systematic errors made by learners to understand learning processes and design remedial teaching. Module 13, Literary Criticism and Theory. Samuel Taylor Coleridge, Biographia Literaria, Chapter 14, distinguishes between primary imagination, secondary imagination, and fancy. The primary imagination is what? Option B, the living power and prime agent of all human perception, an echo of the infinite I am. 74. Philip Sidney's An Apology for Poetry argues that poetry is superior to history and philosophy because it teaches moral lessons through delightful fictional examples that move the will to virtue. Question number 75. Virginia Woolf's A Room of One's Own argues that women have been excluded from literary tradition primarily because they lacked material independence, money, and a room of their own. Virginia Woolf's A Rooms of One's Own argues that women have been excluded from literary tradition primarily because they lacked material independence. Clanthbrooke's The Language of Paradox in The Well-Wrought Urn argues that option B, paradox is the only language adequate to poetry's complex truths. Even Wordsworth's apparently simple poetry uses paradox. Paradox. Michael Foucault's concept of discourse as used in the unities of discourse means answer systems of knowledge and power that determine what can be said, who can say it, and what counts as true in a given era. Eve Kosofsky said Sedgwick's epistemology of the closet argues that option B, the closet, the disclosure, concealment of sexual identity is a central structuring feature of modern Western culture. Module 14, Cultural Studies. Theodor Adorno's Cultural Industry Reconsidered argues that mass culture, option B, standardizes and commodifies culture, suppressing genuine individuality and critical thought. Angela McRobbie's Postmodernism and Popular Culture examines how postmodern style, option B, uses irony, pastiche, and historical recycling in popular culture, especially in youth and fashion culture. Part 2, Teaching and Research Aptitude. Question number 81. Which of the following best describes summative evaluation? Evaluation at the end of an instructional unit to measure achievement and assign grades. 82. The concept of scaffolding. The concept of scaffolding, right? In educational theory refers to temporary support provides learners to help them accomplish tasks just beyond their current ability. Okay. In research methodology, triangulation refers to option B, the use of multiple methods, data sources. Okay, the use of multiple method data sources or researchers to validate findings. 84. Which type of research involves working directly with the communities to solve practical problems with the researcher as a participant? Action research. Part 3, Indian Constitution and Social Welfare. 85. Article 21 of the Indian Constitution guarantees the right to protection of life and personal liberty. Which schedule of the Indian Constitution which schedule of the Indian Constitution lists the languages of officially recognized by the state? Eighth schedule. Eighth schedule ആണ്. Okay. Under the National Food Security Act 2013, beneficiaries are entitled to receive food grains at subsidized prices. Which of the following is correct? Priority households receive 5 kg per person per month at highly subsidized prices. The Prevention of Atrocities Act, SCST Act 1989 was amended in which year to strengthen its provisions? 2018. Fundamental duties of Indian citizens are listed in which article of the Constitution? Article 55, 51A. Part 4, Kerala Renaissance. The Chanar agitation, also called Upper Cloth Revolt, in 19th century, Travancore was struggle for the right of lower caste Nadar women to cover their upper bodies in public. Ayyangali's primary contribution to the Kerala Renaissance was answer fighting for the social, educational, and civil rights of Pulaya community, the lowest in the caste hierarchy. The newspaper Swadeshabhimani associated with the Kerala Renaissance was suppressed and its editor K. Ramakrishna Pillai was deported by the Diwan of Travancore acting on the orders of the Travancore ruler. Chattambi Swamigal was associated with which reformist tradition? Hindu spiritual reform, critiquing caste hierarchy and promoting knowledge across caste lines. The Malayali Memorial was a petition submitted to the Travancore government demanding answer the appointment of Malayalis, native Travancore subject government. Part 4, General Knowledge and Current Affairs. The ICC Men's T20 World Cup 2024 was held in which countries and won by which team? US and West Indies won by India. ICC Men's T20 World Cup T20 2024. The 2026 ICC Men's T20 World Cup is scheduled to be jointly hosted by India and Sri Lanka. The Nobel Prize in Literature 2024 was awarded to which author? Han Kang. India's Chandrayaan 3 mission in 2023 made India the first country to successfully land near the southern polar region of the moon. Southern polar. That's a very important question. We can expect it. The Right to Information Act 2005 empowers citizens to seek information from public authorities within how many days? 30 days. Who was appointed as the new Chief Election Commissioner of India in 2024 following the retirement of Rajiv Kumar? Ganesh Kumar. So that's all about this question. So once again, I repeat you, if you are watching this channel first time, don't forget to subscribe, and all of you, the effort which I'm taking right now for you. So share this video to everyone. At least 100 views minimum I'm expecting. But my previous video I got only 70. So your support is needed. Thank you very much for, and tomorrow I will upload new exam model question paper here, same like this. Thank you very much.